Hello, good evening. You're welcome to News Tonight on GHOne Television. I am Vanessa Danso. Let's see what's coming up this hour. In our headlines this evening, Editor-in-Chief of Daily Searchlight, Kenneth Kranche, files a suit at Supreme Court seeking interpretation on whether former President John Dramani Mahama can seek re-election. We speak to him on this development. The NPP's Bono East Regional Chairman Ibrahim Baba Bukari reportedly in a critical condition following a ghastly accident in the Asen North District while returning from a campaign trip in the constituency. In sports this evening, Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, Mark Addo, tasks Black Meteors to win the AFCON Under-23 tournament in Morocco. And later in E-Zone, who owns the rights to celebrity photos? We will bring you a report of how shops in the capital are being branded with celebrity photos. We have the details of these and other stories coming up shortly. Stay with us. Thank you so much for your company this evening. The bulletin is streaming live on Facebook at GHOne Television. Let's start off in the Central Region, where a decomposed body of a hairdresser and her 13-year-old son has been discovered in their locked room at Gomoa Budumburam in the Gomoa East District of the Central Region. Reports gathered by GHOne News' Yabuijan reveals that the deceased, who is also a Liberian, was full of life when she was last seen on Monday, June 12, 2023. Her neighbors say that though she might have gone for her usual duties as a hairdresser until in the early hours of Wednesday, June 14, 2023, when they realized there was a bad odor emanating from the room of the deceased. The neighbors say they had to forcefully break the window open, only to find the decomposed body of the hairdresser and her son in the room. The matter was immediately reported to the Gomoa Budumburam police station, and the two bodies have been deposited at the Winneba Specialist and Trauma Hospital mortuary for autopsy and preservation. The residents suspect the woman might have poisoned herself and her son following the discovery of a liquid substance suspected to be poisonous in the room.
Obi musu ba biom nti obi mba na ombisa nam sister no ha no wo na so say aduane bi na wan san so ba na oyeden eba ina ba ko ka say me ankasa brofo na me shada nto na papa nti odelebela brofo na e ka na musu me kan biala na me ka da me da wonko bie window no na yeden ye nhwe nti bla ni bie window no otutu yeden e ko nechi na me sa da na sa sister na ewu ode ne ba no na me mom die ehu kan me ntimentu ma yeden anko hwa yeden anko hye no say nwa wo fie fie ha so obi akọ ejuma mepe ina anepe mfie ejuma ba ya me hye dem ho obi aba yeden obevisa.
The High Court in Accra has revoked the bail conditions of Warrant Officer Class 2, Esther San de GHOne, over what the court describes as untrue representation and not convinced conduct. WO2 de GHOne, the only female of the remaining 9 persons on trial, following the demise of Dr. Frederick Yao McPalm, had pleaded not guilty to charges, including high treason. On June 6, when the matter came up for hearing, WO2 de GHOne was absent and his lawyers indicated to the court that their client had been admitted at the police hospital. The panel of 3, presided over by Justice Ifya Sewa Asaribochi, a justice of the Court of Appeal, sitting as an additional High Court judge, then directed the accused to produce a medical report to the court on June 13. But the report presented, the court said, was unsigned. The panel, which also includes Justice Hafi Sata Amale Boba and Justice Stephen Opong, all justices of the Court of Appeal, yesterday ordered the registrar of the court to verify the admission of the accused at the hospital and report to the court. In court on Wednesday, June 14, the registrar of the court, Francis Kenneth Gedezia, presented his report to the panel. Even though he said the accused visited the hospital, there was no report of her being admitted. After tendering his report, the accused and her lawyers offered no explanation. The presiding judge, after listening to the registrar's report and taking into consideration all the previous conduct of the sixth accused, revoked her bail conditions until further notice. According to EIB Network's legal affairs correspondent Mutala Inusa, the third accused had closed his case after failing to produce his witness in court today. The fourth accused, GHOne Zikpi, has been called upon to open his defense on June 19. Still in the judiciary this evening, a three-member panel of the Court of Appeal, presided over by Justice Philip Bright Mensah, has fixed July 3, 2023, to determine a lever judgment on the Attorney General's appeal against the trial of Dr. Stephen Kwabena Opuni, starting afresh. This was after the panel, which also includes Justice Ernest Owusu-Dapa and Justice Jennifer Dadzie, dismissed a request from lawyers of Dr. Opuni, the former Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Cocoa Board, and businessman Seydou Agongo. The court, while refusing the request, said the ruling of the High Court, the submissions of the counsel and the charge sheets, and the relevant documents the Court of Appeal required to determine the appeal. The panel of three subsequently directed the Attorney General's Department, led by Godfred Yeboah-Dame, and the AG to file their written submission by Friday, June 16. Lawyers for Dr. Opuni and Seydou Agongo, the court said, are to also filed their written submissions for the appeal a week after June 16. Consequently, the highest court of the country fixed July 3, 2023 to determine, and according to EIB Network's legal affairs correspondent Mutala Inusa, Dr. Opuni and Seydou Agongo were both present in court. The Attorney General filed an appeal against the ruling of Justice Kwesi Anochijima, who took over the case from the previous judge, Justice Honyanuga, who retired in March this year. On June 7, when the appeal was first called, lawyers of the accused persons told the court that the record before it for the appeal was incomplete and wanted the panel to have a proper appreciation of the matter before making a determination. The Ashanti Regional Chairman of the ruling New Patriotic Party, who doubles as the Dean of all NPP Regional Chairman, Bernard Inchibosiako, popularly known as Chairman Wuntumi, says his party will snatch the Asin North seat just as it did during the Kumewu by-election. He has also pledged the support of all chairmen from across the country to ensure there is victory for the ruling party.
Addressing New Patriotic Party members in the Asin North constituency, Chairman Wuntumi said all indications show the NPP will win the Asin North constituency seat.
Oh, try a one of Ghana, I say no. Actually, MP no, I feel the same. The million, ya two abasa and put you over. Ya two abasa, ye dear baba. Ya two abasa, a bako ya nim. A black person by no. And fear me, no, a two abamano, so be a commit me.
National organizer for the New Patriotic Party, Henry Nanabuache, is also confident of a win for the NPP.
Young Frank Crancoman and Nado Danko Kufado say, Nanado Laman put your power about a simple say. And yeah, you play in favor. Nana Asama Osianko can say His Excellency, the President. The following day, a diet was so, and another Danko Kufado Tonsa and all the Treasury Chasopoku. Asama Obusa and say, Charles Sesia Unaya parliamentary candidate MPP. Again, I may have more. Obi and Koji on Unqua, Rebecca said, I'm penny my book up and to make us so. Charles be an anonymous out of can. Charles said, Nana, Miss Now, me man for, and put
The national chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Stephen Ayinsu Intim, however, accused the former MP, James Jachukwason, of causing huge financial loss to the state and must face the full rigors of the law.
The people of Asin have realized that they made a mistake, voted for Kwason. He has wasted our time. He has wasted government money. Now government is going to spend again on this election. For what? Against me. Let's not make that mistake again. We regret for what we did, and we are prepared to correct that mistake right here on next week on the 27th. So we call on all Ghanaians to endorse our candidate Charles Opoku to come and replace the man who has wasted the time of government and the time of the people of Asin North.
Well, still in the Asin North District this evening, the Bono East Regional Chairman of the NPP, Ibrahim Baba Bukari, is reportedly in critical condition following a ghastly accident at Akomfode in the Asin North District. Baba Bukari was said to be returning from a campaign trip at Asin Nincheso and was heading towards Asin Fusu when the motorbike he was traveling with ran into the rear portion of a Kia truck with registration number JX358914. Which was being escorted by the Asin Fusu-based Forestry Commission. Eyewitness reports suggest he was overtaking the Kia truck while overspeeding, resulting in the crash. He was rushed to the local CHIPS compound for first aid and was later referred to the St. Francis Xavier Hospital in Asin Fusu. A military aircraft was called to transport the victim to Kolebu Teaching Hospital in Accra for further treatment following a referral by doctors at the St. Francis Xavier Hospital in Asin Fusu due to the severity of the injuries. Meanwhile, the party hierarchy remained tight-lipped about the incident when GHOne News attempted to seek information from them. However, sources revealed that the complaints filed by the NPP executive at the police station suggest the vehicle, which belongs to the Forestry Commission, rather allegedly hit the chairman's motorbike while chasing a vehicle suspected of illegally transporting wood. The Asin Fusu Forestry Manager, Nana Kwabna Ejapon, denied the claim that the Commission's vehicle rather hit the motorbike. He was confident that a thorough investigation launched by the police into the matter will definitely establish the facts of the matter. You're still watching news tonight on GHOne TV. It's time for Insights now. Seeking interpretation. On Inside this evening, the editor-in-chief of the Daily Searchlight, Kenneth Kranche, has filed a suit at the Supreme Court seeking interpretations on whether former President John Mahama can seek re-election as he has been elected by the NDC as its flag bearer for the 2024 election. What Kenneth Kranche wants from the Apex Court including a declaration that on a true and proper interpretation of Article 61, Clauses 1 and 2 of the 1992 Constitution, a person seeking a second presidential term must be a certain president. A declaration that on a true and proper interpretation of Article 62 of the 1992 Constitution, a former president of Ghana is not qualified to seek re-election as president of Ghana. Well, joining us for further conversation on this development is managing editor for the Daily Searchlight, Kenneth Kranche. Thank you so much for your time this evening, Ken. Mr. Kranche, if you can hear me, thank you so much for your time this evening. Of the Daily Searchlight newspaper, who has filed a suit against former President John Dramani Mahama against his bid to file for re-election to lead the NDC in the 2024 general elections. All right, I have on the phone the editor-in-chief of the Daily Searchlight, Kenneth Kranche. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Excellent. So help us understand briefly, why do you think that Mahama's bid to seek re-election isn't consistent with the constitutional provisions of the 1992 Constitution?
Well, I have been saying that if you look at Article 66(1) of the 1992 Constitution, the declaration that I hope our Supreme Court would with a very respectful plea to the Supreme Court of Ghana is that they will grant me the declaration that in Ghana, when you go to Article 66(1) of the 1992 Constitution, the term of years of the presidency is 4 years. So that is the first application before the Supreme Court. That's the first relief that I am seeking. The second relief is that it would be on Article 66(1) and 66(2) combined. That the person who is eligible to secure a second term must be the person who is occupying the office for the first term. So, in other words, I'm saying that the second term must be contiguous to the first term. It must be consecutive. Former President Mahama's supporters would suggest that that is not the rightful argument, and that it can be disparate. That means that you can have a first term, go out of office, and then come back again in a few years, maybe 4 years or 8 years or 12 years or 16 years, and then you have the right to come and enjoy your second term too. The argument I'm making is that if you lose the first term, you then become a former president of Ghana under Article 68(2) of the 1992 Constitution. So that you then fall into the category of former presidents like Mr. General Kunkufo. So I would also be I'm also seeking a declaration from the Supreme Court from their honorable lordships to that effect that when someone is a former president, when the person has left office, he falls under Article 68(2) of the 1992 Constitution. I'm also seeking a declaration that people who fall under the Article 68(2) of the 1992 Constitution are the ward of Parliament. In other words, they fall under the authority of the Parliament of Ghana, and therefore not free to do everything and anything that they want to do. They come under a certain authority, which is the People's Parliament. So I'm seeking that declaration. I'm seeking the further declaration that if you are a former president of Ghana, you are not free to go for a job that provides emolument or a position that provides emolument unless you have sought the permission of Parliament. I'm also then going under Article 62 of the 1992 Constitution and saying that even though the broad definitions of who qualifies to be a president of Ghana you must be a citizen of Ghana, must have attained the age of 30 years, you must be of sound mind, you must have not committed a crime in the last 10 years, you must not have been convicted by a president for those crimes. All those things, several people qualify. But there are also exceptions to the people who qualify but can still not apply for president. For instance, you and I would agree that, for instance, our chiefs cannot apply for political office. So that is a very easy exception. I'm also arguing on the Supreme Court that former presidents too as well are not eligible to contest for election. So these are some of the about 8 provisions I'm the relief that I'm speaking from the Supreme Court, and of course, have forward some consequential orders that
Okay.
I'm hopeful the lawsuits will be my way, and then he grant me this relief.
Right, Mr. Kranche, you see, Article 66, clauses 2, which you make reference to, indicates that a person shall not be elected to hold office as a president of Ghana for more than 2 terms. There is no indication that it's not supposed to be consecutive.
Okay. With constitutions, the implements of constitutions are not in a position to plan for every eventuality. They may do their best to do so, but they are not going to be able to plan for every and any contingency and eventuality. That is one. Number 2, a very diligent reading of Article 66 will bring up the word elected, the word not elected. That word brings up the issue of choice. So even though you might have served your first term under Article 66 one, the second term, it is not the right that binds to you. It's not the right that it is for you. You must first qualify through the process of election. So I'm saying that if you fail that process of election, you then fall under another clause, which is Article 62. Okay, so it's not the right that accompanies you wherever you go. Once you become a president, it's a right that accompanies you. It's a right that is subject to somebody's choice. So if that person decides that you are not going to be president, that you become, you form another section, another article of the 1990 Constitution, which is Article 62. So that is a very simple argument. We are talking about the former president, who is now subject to different laws of obligations and rights under Article 68 of the 1990 Constitution.
Right, but there are also people that believe that you are doing this for the optics. Is that the case?
I'm doing this for
the optics.
For the
optics.
For the optics.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You cannot judge what people think. You cannot. You must allow people to believe what they want to believe. Okay, if somebody believes it's for the optics, that is on the law. That is his own problem. I know why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I believe that if what I'm doing is honest, it's principled, is the right thing to do, that is the best I can do. I can tell you anything for myself, and allow other people who believe that what I'm doing is for another individual to believe what they want to do. I'm not going to really bother myself about what people think I'm doing. If it is right in my own understanding, then it is worth doing.
Right. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Well, apparently this is the first of a case of its kind, so we cannot wait to see the outcome, which will certainly be a precedent set by the highest court of the land. That's it for Inside this evening. But remember to brush your teeth day and night with Pepsodent, because with Pepsodent, every smile matters. Chairman for the Select Committee on Mines and Energy in Parliament, Samuel Atachia, has resurrected the debate on take-or-pay PPAs signed by the Mahama administration. The minority weeks ago took on Country Director for the World Bank, Pierre Laporte, for blaming such contracts on Ghana's current economic crisis, pointing out the current administration is equally executing similar agreements since it is standard industry practice. But addressing the media in Parliament, Samuel Atachia argued that the take-or-pay agreement signed by the Mahama appointees amounted to causing financial loss to the state. The Ebuakwa South MP, however, added that prosecution decisions rest with the President and his Attorney General.
The government was forced to issue 2 series of bonds totaling 1.6 billion in 2017 and 2018 to pay 50% of the legacy debt owed to several energy sector actors, including various banks, VRA, ECG, the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, unresolved, and the sector's total shortfalls are projected to accumulate to 12.5 billion by 2023. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are not inventions of a political party. These are raw data that I crave your indulgence as the fourth estate of the realm to look at critically. So we have a balanced diet. Because what happens is that, somebody can come in and hijack the imagination of people that as if it's a joke. These are serious monies as a result of this fetish called take or pay power arrangements.
The Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Mavis Hawakumsin, has outlined a roadmap for the commencement of the annual closed fishing season, which takes effect on July 1, 2023. According to the Minister, while canoe and inshore fishers would observe the closed season for a month from July 1 to July 31, the fishing season would be closed to industrial trawlers from July 1 to August 31. Addressing the media in Accra, the sector minister assured government is taking measures to cushion fisherfolk while curbing illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing activities.
A ministry and the Fisheries Commission has since 2016 been implementing closed fishing season as a fish stock recovery strategy with the objective of reducing overfishing and high fishing pressure, recovering exploited fish stocks, rebuilding depleted fish stocks, replenishing dwindling fish stocks. To ensure continuous recovery and rebuilding of depleted fish stocks, closed fishing season were implemented from 2016 to 2022, except 2020 due to COVID-19 pandemic. As a way of reducing pressure on the fisheries resources, the ministry and its partners, including the Ghana Fisheries Recovery Activity, has launched the Alternative Livelihood Training Support for Fishers, starting with 550 fishers in masonry, carpentry, dressmaking, hairdressing, electronics and auto engineering.
Still on the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, the sector minister, Mavis Hawakumsin, has decried the incessant dumping of plastics and other toxic waste that pollutes the sea. The minister, who was speaking at a press conference to announce a roadmap for the 2023 closed fishing season, lamented the situation continued to have adverse effects on the quality of fish produced in the sea for consumption and exports.
We see plastic waste in our sea. This fish goes in for it, it chokes them and it kills them in the water. You don't even see it. We pollute the air, the sea, thinking that we are trying to hide behind something. The last time I was saying that when it rains, you see that is where people dispose of their waste into the gutters, then it moves directly into the sea. And if it's not going into the sea, the lagoons are there. It goes to the lagoon. So it kills the species there. And when we say we should stop polluting the environment, throwing waste anyhow, people think it is the duty of government. It's the duty of all of us. Who is the government? You are the government. I'm the government. What are we doing to stop these unnecessary activities that pollute the environment, that pollute the sea? Have you thought of the fish that you eat from the sea? Have you thought of the fish that you eat from the inland, the water? We do all these illegal activities. It's part of the illegal activities. Not only galamsey is illegal. Throwing waste into the sea is also illegal activity. So
the Southeastern Europe Task Force of the United States Army has applauded its Guinean counterparts at the 37 Military Hospital for their continuous collaboration towards quality healthcare delivery in Ghana. Speaking during a visit, Commander for the Task Force of the United States Army, Major General Todd Wasmond, urged the medical readiness training team to strengthen cooperation between partner forces while sharing best practices for the treatment of ailments.
The Medical Readiness Training Exercise, MEDREX, which forms part of an annual largest joint exercise of the U.S. African Command, African Lion Military Training Exercise, is aimed at demonstrating shared commitments to regional stability in North and West African countries. MEDREX affords the Ghana Armed Forces and partner forces from the U.S. the opportunity to spend time in medical facilities in Ghana to conduct surgeries and other medical services while sharing best medical practices for the treatment of ailments. During a visit by the U.S. Army to Ghana, the team toured the neonatal intensive care units, the emergency ward, and surgical wards of the 37 military hospital to ascertain the progress of the exercise. General Todd Wasmond is the commander for the task force of the United States Army.
What we hope to achieve with this year's MEDREX is to continue to learn best practices and to exchange best ideas and strengthen our relationship so that we can continue to build on that in the future. I am thoroughly impressed by what I've seen today at the hospital. 500 beds, a teaching hospital, making the most of the resources available, giving confidence to patients, caring for patients and helping them to heal, and doing that with a spirit of giving and selflessness that is really refreshing to see. And I'm absolutely impressed by everything that I've seen today in the hospital.
Leader of the team of medical officers at the Ghana Armed Forces, Commander James Agri-Olins, who is an orthopedic surgeon at the 37 military hospital, believes the exercise has been mutually beneficial.
This collaboration has been mutually beneficial. So in the interest of best practices, they learn how to function in an austere environment, and we also learn some advanced practices from them. So it's mutually beneficial, and we hope while we train together, if we keep training together, when there's a great need to actually work together, there will be a seamless transition from working as individual nations to working together as a coalition or a unified body. So that's the concept, that we learn to train together so we work together efficiently.
The U.S. team will be visiting Morocco and Tunisia to undertake a similar exercise as part of the 2023 African Lion Military Exercise.
The Asante-Hene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II has appointed Nathan Kwabena Anochie DC, Chief Executive Officer of the Excellence in Broadcasting Network, as board member of the Millennium Excellence Foundation. He will serve on the board with 32 others. President of the foundation, Nana Agyeman Prempeh, formerly known as Ashim Morton, on Sunday 11th June 2023, formally introduced the board members to the Kumasi Traditional Council during the celebration of the 4th Akwesida Festival of the year in Mesia Palace.
11 out of the 33 board members who made it to the festival included Engineer Nana Poku Agyeman, Dr. Ernest Dofori Sapon, Dr. Kweku Otin, Patricia Poku Diaby, Anes Hafar, Joyce Ababio, Elinam Hogli, Mike Dankwa, Kobi Asma, and Linda Ampa. The Millennium Excellence Foundation is a non-profit, non-governmental organization legally registered with a vision to recognize and support achievement in sustainable development. The concept is that by celebrating and showcasing achievements of individuals and corporate institutions and their impact on society, it will spur them on and inspire others to do the same. Speaking to GHOne News, President of the Foundation, Nana Agyeman Prempeh, formerly known as Ashim Morton, pledged the Millennium Excellence Foundation will give its utmost support to the planning and celebration of the 25th anniversary celebration of Asante-Hene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II's ascension on the Asanteman Golden Stool. The foundation also donated 1,000 exercise books to support Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II's foundation's educational projects.
As you know, the Millennium Excellence Foundation has a tradition. Every 3 to 5 years, we change our board of governors and the advisory board. And this time around, we are coming to present the new incoming board of governors and the advisory board, and to inform His Royal Majesty that as he prepares to celebrate the 25th anniversary installment on the throne, we are here to support that celebration.
Engineer Nana Puku Ajaman, member of the Board of Governors of the foundation, also disclosed the Millennium Excellence Foundation, as part of activities marking the 25th anniversary of Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, will organize a series of activities including awarding recognized Ghanaians who have excelled in their various professional career fields. Chief Executive of the EIB Network, Nathan Kwabna Anochi ADC, also commended Otumfuo and the Asante Man Traditional Council for upholding the Asante tradition by making Menchia Palace a center for tourism.
It's there for all to see. Last year during December, I remember I was part of that day, Kessie as well, and looking at the number of people trooping in, even at the airport, you meet up with a lot of people and they're all coming down to Kumasi, for this festive occasion. So clearly Ashanti is doing very well in that direction as well, and the kingdom is supporting it with all the rich culture through music. I mean, I was enjoying the Inyumkro, and today for the first time I also heard of some people known as the Kwadrum, the Kwadrum and the appellations and hailing of the king. I think that is just great. That is beautiful. A sight to behold indeed. So yes, also through the Millennium Excellence Foundation, we'll be coming here quite often to support concepts of education, health posts as well, and tourism in a nutshell.
The annual Akan calendar is divided into 9 months, which last approximately 6 weeks but varies between 40 and 42 days in a period. The celebration of this period is called the Adai Festival. The Adai Festival has 2 celebration days: the Akwasidai Festival, which is celebrated on the final Sunday of the period, and the Awukudai Festival, which falls on Wednesday within the period.
You're still watching news tonight here on GHOne Television. We'll be right back after this break. In business this evening, the Ghana Statistical Service has pegged inflation for May 2023 at 42.2%, which is a percentage increase in the 41.2% recorded for April, as prices of food and commodities see a marginal upsurge. This would be the first rise in the figures for this year after a drop in inflation for 4 consecutive months since January 2023. Government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna-Inim attributed the surge in inflation to hikes in prices of food items, with food inflation soaring to 51.8% from the 48.7% recorded in April 2023. The Western North region recorded the highest regional inflation of 62.5%, with the Ashanti region recording the lowest of 31.0%.
North region since September 2022 has recorded 4 times the highest food inflation, specifically from February to May 2023. We got a Western North region dominating food inflation from 77.3%, inching up to 81.1%, dropped to 78.3% in April 2023, and then slow down again to 77.1% for May 2023. In September 2022, the Central region recorded the highest food inflation of 50.3%, October 57.9%, and November 71.7%. So it could be said that in the last 9 months, the Central region and the Western region have dominated in terms of food inflation. If you take commodities that are well packaged, commodities that are well standardized, you see less price volatilities in those commodities than prices that are not standardized. This takes us to the conversation on why, as a country, we need to take our metric system, our standardization system, more carefully.
The 2023 African Women in Agribusiness Awards have been launched to celebrate and acknowledge the outstanding contributions of women in the agricultural and business sectors. The award event, slated for November 18, 2023, will honor over 20 exceptional women across Africa who have not only achieved remarkable success in their respective fields, but have also paved the way for others to follow suit. This report has more.
The Guzakuza African Women in Agribusiness Awards, now in its 3rd edition, will highlight the remarkable accomplishments of these women, showcasing their resilience in overcoming the challenges of the agribusiness industry. Speaking at the launch, Fortune Che, the project lead at Guzakusa, explained that the award ceremony brings to the fore the significant but often overlooked role played by women in farming, food production, and agribusiness.
Women are, gathered in their small corners. They are doing remarkably well, especially when you look at the rural women who are really on the ground farming. They are the people that have been putting food on our table, but you realize that they are sidelined. People don't really get to hear of them. So what we are basically looking at is to go out there, look for all these women, bring them together and celebrate them.
Fortune Che added that this year's event aligns with the goals of the African Continental Free Trade Area and climate change resilience, enabling women to adapt to new challenges with greater ease.
Yeah, it's focusing on digitalization because there are so many issues that are concerning after. We really want to get it right so that these women will start to benefit from whatever after seems to bring to the table. Then we will also look at climate resilience, because nowadays climate is no more predictable. You would be expecting rains today, it won't appear, it will appear next time. So we really want the women to be prepared, so that whether it rains or shine, still we need to have food on our table. So
nomination for the awards is now open, commencing on June 14, 2023.
You're still watching News Tonight on GHOne Television, and it's now time for sports with a beautiful Monica Bukari, who has got details of the Black Meteors and other exciting sports news. Monica, good evening.
Good evening, Vanessa. The Vice President of the GFA is charging the Black Meteors to bring home the AFCON trophy. These and other stories coming up shortly. Do stay. The Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, Mark Addo, has charged the national under-23 team, the Black Meteors, to be confident and show class by justifying their selection to represent the country. Mark Addo also cautioned the team to remain humble and committed to each other in their quest to unearth the ultimate prize as they prepare in Egypt ahead of the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco.
I am very happy to be here, for one, for the fact that, and also to congratulate you for what you've accomplished. We have not been to the Olympics, God knows how long. I remember fond memories. I was in the US at that time when Ghana played against Italy in Washington. I think we beat them 3-0. That was a top Italian team, but we beat them. In Ghana, we just don't qualify. We win. You know, it's not about when we are playing tournaments, you say we'll be qualified. Gone are the days. Qualification was just given. It was about a cup. And that's the mentality that we should have. We have some of the best players on the continent, if not the world. But to be able to accomplish your goals in terms of where you are now, you have to be humble. You have to be humble to die for each other, to fight for each other, to fight for every ball. If you are able to do that, if you are humble enough, fight for each other, and to die for each other on that pitch, no matter where you are, and to play, to leave everything on that pitch, we will make it, because we have the talent, we have the capability. Your coaches will give you all the direction, all the instructions, all the strategy, all the tactics, but the most important thing is it boils down to commitment.
Away from that, a football competition has been initiated to fight teenage pregnancy cases in Achimansa district in Eastern Region. Achimansa district recorded the highest teenage pregnancy cases in 2021 in Eastern Region, but dropped to the second position in 2022. Organizers of the football competition, to be held periodically, believe the initiative will help bring the communities and teenagers together to facilitate awareness creation.
Achimansa district recorded the highest teenage pregnancy cases in 2021 in Eastern Region, but dropped to second position in 2022. An NGO, ARC Development Organization, with funding from UNICEF, has therefore initiated a football competition among the communities and schools in the district as part of the implementation of a project dubbed Safe and Protective Environment for Adolescent Development Spread. The competition is targeting schools and communities in the district. Organizers of the program seized the opportunity to create awareness about the teenage pregnancy menace.
We want a change in Achimansa district, because looking at the situation, we have to do something about it as a stakeholder. So today we collaborate with Ghana Education Service, the GES, the police unit, the DSASAMO, and they all supported us in this. The chiefs and the elder DSASAMO member, they help us to organize this particular event. And looking at the impact, the cross-border campaign has really gone down well with the students. So I know that most of them will pick the message and they are going to act on that.
Some of the teenage girls who participated in the event shared the views of the causes of alarming teenage pregnancy cases.
I was so now omunya dachi papa emo omuhu now anyasa boy bi huna not like what's in a pen or penis woman obi won so anya ne 40 fi say bia ni maami obenye scam na afa koto pad no oni binti no e was say oyede okoye ememasem sometimes force ni bi fi awofo no if say dwan me no mo banu pie ka so mo kotaduane a omo nsho mo no meja omo no mo ni number sabasa and since the boys na aba ni see dey ti so mo ehu on my flow say enti na meka say
some of the young men blamed parents for not providing the needs of their teenage girls, pushing them to depend on men who also take advantage of the girls.
So when I dance, so I did even be man so say this can be man so she said then this can any then enkokwa and decide on any bed on any bed.
On the international front, Real Madrid have announced the signing of British midfielder Jude Bellingham for the next 6 years. Madrid and Borussia Dortmund reached an agreement of €103 million for the transfer. There is more in the following report.
The England international has spent the last 3 years at Borussia Dortmund. Bellingham will be presented as a Real Madrid player on Thursday. The England midfielder, expensive player, should the deal rise to the 115 million euros price tag, including add-ons, has signed a 6-year deal at the Santiago Bernabeu. Bellingham leaves Dortmund after 3 seasons and was named Bundesliga Player of the Year in the most recent campaign. In a farewell statement, Bellingham thanked everyone at BVB and to the fans for everything over the past 3 years.
The Black Meteors will be playing Egypt tomorrow in a friendly in Egypt. That will be it for sports with me, Monica Bukayo. Back to you, Vanessa.
Thank you so much, Monica. And we certainly wish the Black Meteors the very best. Up next is GHOne. In Ghana, it is very common to find images of celebrities, both foreign and local, splashed on signboards and various shops in various communities. One would wonder whether the images used imply the said personality approves or endorses the services rendered. But oftentimes, that is not the case. In this report filed by my colleague Benny Sonayele, she looks at the upholding of image rights in Ghana.
Is a hairdresser at Kutubabi, whose salon, Praisebourne Hair Beauty Salon, has been splashed with images of some Ghanaian celebrities in different hairstyles. Although the images are being used without the permission of the owners, Priscilla is oblivious about the infringement of the image rights. She, however, blames the graphic designer she employed to design her shop with the creatives.
And on one to sue celebrities no mammy. And so on the bebo, but I mean, name say be a celebrities ne woman no, or whom bet me assume and
Priscilla is not the only one caught up in this act of image right infringement. Fashion designer Abdul Nazir Khalid also has his shop spotted with images of some celebrities, both foreign and local. For him, he says he cannot be held accountable or liable, but blames graphic designers and sellers of posters which has the image of celebrities.
We bought the books. It's a gallery, you understand. Their photos are inside. We bought it from the market. So we think it's our right that since we bought the thing, we can use it for our marketing. I don't think we should be held accountable for it because we bought it. We use our money to buy the photo album. The shops, owner of the shop that we bought the boots from. So far as we buy the thing and they know those people who are selling the things, they should rather stop those people, not us.
But Desmond, a graphic designer, thinks otherwise. He says his priority is to satisfy his customers, most of whom are excited over the use of the images of the celebrities. For him, they are even helping in promoting the celebrities whose images are often used.
Honestly, and on a real, it's for the money. People are working, right? Just like how they are working. Yeah. More of the reasons why they are celebrities. There are pictures everywhere, flying up here and there. So I guess we are the ones making them become more of the celebrities they are of, right? Well, I guess with these small adverts to which we are adding their pictures in it, that's the more reason they are celebrities. That's why they are still reigning.
All these persons are obviously unaware of what image right is. Principal Research Officer at Ghana Copyright Office, Issa Mahama, who blames the situation on low rates of registration of image rights, says, until people are sued for flouting the law, such malpractices will continue.
If you violate copyright, you can be fined and not more than 1,000 penalty units and not less than 500 penalty units. And you can be convicted to 3 years in prison or both. So, and one unit is 12 cedis. So if you are fined and the judge says you are fined for 1,000 penalty units, then you can see the amount you will pay, and you can also go to prison as well. So it's a serious business. So if we decide to take people on, now people will now know that they have to desist from violating people's copyright.
Elekem Kumoji is a movie actor and a fashion designer. He has said that although no action has been taken by any celebrity, it will be fair to share proceeds with the celebrities since the image are used for commercial purposes.
There was a big banner of me and two of the outfits I've made and my picture on it. I parked the car and I tore it down. And then I was upset because I felt like, you put so much work into being creative and cracking your brain, and someone just takes your intellectual property and just literally plasters it. It upset me, but eventually, you know what they say sometimes, that it's a form of flattery when people want to copy you or want to be like you. And so I'm on the edge about it. I mean, as long as you're not using my work for profit and gains and you're just appreciating it, I'm okay with it. But if you want to use my work to gain or make profits, then come and let's share it at least. Don't chop it alone.
Reporting for GHOne News, Venice Soniele.
Thank you so much for your company this evening on News Tonight. This is where we draw the curtains, and we'll see you again tomorrow at 6 a.m. My name is Vanessa Dan, so have a good evening.